I'm going to ask Brother Salim if you can tell us when did you join the Nation of Islam and why did you join the Nation of Islam?
You know, that's a long story, but when? I don't think people just join. I think you would sympathize. Most of the people would sympathize whether they knew it or not. Islam, I put it like this. Everybody in America who's a Muslim now, they came through one door of the Nation of Islam in one way or another. I don't know if it was about word of mouth, about reputation, or whatever happened, but I know it's just like you cannot be born without a mother. So I said the Nation of Islam was a mother and father for everybody hearing about it, having enough courage to even say the word Muslim or Islam.
Yes.
Although it was not Orthodox Islam, it wasn't Islam like it's world, global Islam, but what it was a refuge for, like the brother just said, freedom fighter, for people with courage to get out of the situation mentally that we were in as a people, that still, most of us are still in as a people. You hear what I'm saying? Because when we study history, I'm so thankful for how Allah has blessed us to have all this information coming now. What I teach a lot of time, I said, what you call it, information overload. We got too much information now. Now, when I was, I'm 79, what do you want to know? That's my age. So when we was coming up, if you didn't live through what we lived through, most of the people can't understand what we're talking about. Why y'all always complaining? Why y'all, it's a lot to talk about. But what happened was, I had a good family, father, mother, I'm the only boy, 4 sisters, and I was around Muslims all my life, Islam. And that's the only Muslim we knew really at the time. This was in the late 50s and early 60s. And I know most of us heard about Beale Street.
Yes.
Beale Street is, if you didn't know, Beale Street is a place where black people African American people used to socialize and had business. They didn't own any of the buildings, but they had the business. The Jews owned all the buildings.
Yes.
But that's where the black people congregated to for business. And my mother had a beauty shop on 4th and Beale. So I was there as a boy, so I said from 14 until they closed the beauty shop in the 60s. And Muslims was all up and down Beale Street, selling them. And like I tell Muslims all the time, I think the first time that we heard Muslim popular was through the Nation of Islam.
Yeah. And what year was this?
Oh man, early 60s.
Early 60s. In Memphis.
In Memphis. Oh yeah. See, Beale Street, I don't know if it was the first temple or not, but I know one of the first temples of the Nation of Islam was on Beale Street. Matter of fact, you had the post office, it was run by an African American man. You had a bank, it was run by African American. All of this was on Beale Street. Yeah. Like you heard about what is it, Tulsa?
Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street, yeah. Beale Street was like that. That's where all this black business were. Yeah. And it had to be in that area because you couldn't go nowhere else like it is now. Yeah. I was on the corner with Sheikh Cardi, and I was going to say a whole lot until but they just gave us 15 minutes, so when I couldn't get everything out, Sheikh Cardi got up, and he said everything I wanted to say. And then Sheikh Cardi stood up and he said, everybody, most immigrants in there, he said, everybody in there, roll your sleeve up. He said, now rub your arm and look at it. He said, Dr. Martin Luther King and most of the African Americans were the reason that we are here in America today, with all that they went through to get us here today. So that's why I tell brother, all my young people, when I see them, I said, Sheikh Hamza, I told him, I said, you know, our ancestors prayed for who we were in the Nation of Islam. And we prayed for what we're seeing now, what Sheikh Hamza is doing on Sheikh the Hawk. You know, and when you be able to be an independent thinker, you can see all of this. But if you're following certain things, you can't see it. So the best thing that ever happened to me in my life was Islam. I'm not going to live like that. I should keep on going. But one of the reasons I came to Islam, the main reason, the most important thing about me coming to Islam, it taught me who God was. Do you hear me? We got a lot of Muslims don't even know what their purpose is or why they came to Islam. See, we were so saturated in our mind, and like I said, a lot of us still are. We saw the white man stuff. Why? They show you on these little reels every day. Little white boy stood on the reel the other day and said, if Jesus was God and born in Palestine and Jerusalem, why did they paint him white? He said, now, it hurt a lot of people all over the world, but it hurt us too, as much as it did or more than it did them. So, it's back to what I was saying. Islam told me who God was. And I argue this all the time. I just said, La ilaha illallah. I said, just so, brother, you're supposed to say Muhammad Rasulullah right after that. I do it on purpose. I said, La ilaha illallah. But what else come after that? That's what brought me here. Why? Once you learn that, you automatically will go to Muhammad Rasulullah if you're sincere and right. So it taught me who God was prophet. And the door I came through Islam, I came through the Nation of Islam on Florida Street. There was a little building not big as this, really. But it was clean. One thing about the Nation of Islam, we taught discipline and cleanliness. Yes. And we taught that the black man was God. And I got the Prophet Muhammad to get on it. And Elijah Muhammad was the messenger of God, not prophet of God, was a messenger. And that's what we taught. And we taught that Farad, who was, I think he was from Pakistan, India. Farad. Yeah, he was an immigrant. And he was a Muslim, Orthodox Muslim. But he taught the concept of the Nation of Islam. That's a whole other story. I mean, that's all over the internet and everything. But back to Islam. On Florida Street, I was over there for 2 years, I think, before we made the transition to Islam proper.
What year was that? What year?
That was 73, 74 on Florida Street. On Florida, yes.
Is the building still there?
Yeah, we got a museum too. I'm over the museum. We got a museum at the masjid. We have a masjid on 4412 South 3rd Street, first masjid in Memphis. And what I tell people when they come to the masjid, especially to the museum, I say, welcome home. I don't care where you're from. If you're Muslim, welcome home. And you know, it does something with people because I travel a lot. And I never heard people say that. Some Muslims just treat you, well, it's like the Quran says, people act according to their own definition. So I try to say that because Allah said the earth is the masjid, it's his masjid. So any masjid, and I feel like any masjid I go to, I'm at home. So I carry that to our masjid. But like I was saying, in Imam Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad passed, we all probably know this history. We had a day called Savior's Day. That's when we had our annual convention every year in Chicago. And brother, let me tell you something. Y'all might be saying, well, why they believe that? Why they like that? Why they can't come to this? We were just as sincere and serious about the Nation of Islam as we are about Islam now. About Prophet Muhammad and Allah, people upon him. That's how sincere we were. Now, when a man is sincere about something, what he's doing, you can't stop him. And in the situation that we were in as a people, I can't even explain that. I mean, like I said, you have to live through this. Oh man, I would have done it. I would have done it. Allah brings you through whatever good He wants you to come through, or whatever experience He wants you to have. That's it. I took a Jamaat, old Sheikh. They wanted to see the museum. We actually found out we were from Masjid in Memphis. He wanted to show the Masjid. We got the Masjid out the lot. So he brought the whole Jamaat down to the Masjid. And I gave him a tour of the museum. And Sheikh didn't know who Muhammad Ali was. I'm just telling you who Sheikh was, man. He was a scholar, but he didn't know who Muhammad Ali was. He didn't know who Malcolm X was. He didn't know none of this. So, but when Sheikh saw him, I told him we were in live, and I showed him the wall. We got pictures up and everything of everybody. Malcolm X and Sheikh was listening. When he got through, Sheikh said, Well, tell me one thing. I said, this is the wall we now walked in Muhammad. He brought us from the nation of Islam, and the black man was God, and he let him Allah, through Allah. The Sheikh said, well, what's your matter, or who helped him to do this? I thought about it, I said, nobody. I didn't even know about it when I looked. She said, you mean what is the Muhammad did this single-handed? He milked it. I said, he did this single-handed. God, let's do a prayer for you, what to do. I said, okay, Sheikh. I said, lead prayer, Sheikh. He said, no, you lead us in prayer. I said, you lead us. Imam Muhammad had already told us they're going to ask you to lead them, and others to lead them in prayer with them. Because Sheikh saw what that was. That was a dangerous for Imam. And this is a very important one to say right now. Making that change, you just said he did this, he brought it. No. Making that change, bringing over, we said, this 100,000 people in the nation of Islam to Islam proper. And when he brought us to Islam proper, he said, we're not following no school of thought. We're not Sunni Muslim. We're not Shiite Muslim. We're a Muslim proper. And that's what he is to stuff in Islam. Then he said, take every book you got. Our book was Memphis to the Black Man and How to Eat and Live. And the Muhammad said, that was our book. We had a Quran in your house, but you couldn't open it and read it. It was up on the shelf. The high shelf in your house, and you had to wash your hands, take care of it, like keep it covered, but you couldn't read it. You hear me?
So no one was allowed to read it, or
That was the rule.
you weren't allowed to read the Quran?
No.
So who could read it? No, I mean, like, was it like the ministers could read it, or?
We were living at the Bible. You know what I'm saying? We were teaching our ministers, we were teaching from the Bible. Because that's all we knew. And I'll tell you what it was, like Imam Muhammad. Reverse psychology. They had taught us the white man was God, flip it, the black man is God. You understand what I'm saying?
So them basically, of course, you know, like my grandparents had both of them on both sides had a white image of Jesus on their wall.
Everybody did.
Everybody did.
Not just everybody did. I'm gonna cut in on you. I want everybody to. You want to cut out while I'm talking? While I'm talking, like he just did, please stop me, because I would just keep going, and I'll be mixing a lot of things. Go ahead.
Yeah. So in my family, if you say anything about the white person on the wall who was supposed to be God, there was going to be an argument right there. And even though grandma may have been a Bible thumper, she was about to cuss you out. You know what I'm saying? So you basically saying that Elijah Muhammad, he kind of flipped the mentality, right? So the philosophy that, you know, these people in the Bible, they're not white, they're black, because so on and so forth.
Let me give you a scenario that I get sometimes. Imam Muhammad brought us into this. He had a psychology, a logic that he taught us. And he came in, he didn't come and just straight Allah, God, Prophet Muhammad, and peace be upon him. He came in, he said, man is man. That's what he brought us to. Man is man. Now, science is just bringing this out now. This is 50 years ago, man. And we said, oh, that makes sense. And he said, everything has a logic. This is what he was teaching us, not through the hadith, not through the scholars. He was appealing to our common sense.
Because he wanted you to think for himself.
Wait a minute, another thing. They say he had a third grade education. What is a third grade education? Think about it. Nothing. Third grade education? I don't think they're teaching to read how to get third grade. That was just resilience and a blessing from Almighty God that he was a resilient man, blessed not God, and inspired by Almighty God. And just like Nat Turner, you heard the story of Nat Turner, right?
Yes.
He did something that people didn't do. He had a rebellion.
Yes.
So Allah blessed George Washington Carver. What did he do with the people? Allah blessed whom he He don't have to be no prophet. And the story is, Farad Muhammad was just with him 3 years to teach him what he knew. So how can he teach him all of that in 3 years what he did? Recruiting people, saying this. How can he teach him this? So we know a lot of this medicine and a lot of people who was conscious of what was happening during that time and wanted to retaliate. That's most of the people. We didn't get the scholars, we didn't get the people from college, the educated people. No, we had mostly street people.
This is the nation, right?
This is the nation, yeah. I'm talking about Elijah Muhammad now. And that's who he was recruiting. See, but just because he was in the street didn't mean he was a fool or dumb. You had good sense, but you couldn't be your value couldn't be accepted on the street. So most people say, I'm looking for something different. And I heard a story that said, and I just heard this other day and saw it myself. That's the only movement that made us look at our culture and see that we were somebody and recognize it. Because right now, and I just thought about this the other day, we're still living up under the rule of being validated. As African Americans, because we didn't think about this, brother. Sometimes you may be arguing with somebody, a Caucasian, and you be winning the argument, but all of a sudden you drop your head. You know what? You can't win with God, because that's what you're looking at. That's what we thought. We thought, don't you have people like we said, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha. We said we'd be calling on Allah from our heart. The Christians, when they said, thank you, Jesus. Don't you know they're calling on God from their heart? And then we'll go so boldly, why you thank Jesus? That's all they've been told. And then they come around a lot and say, he don't charge you for what you don't know.
So let me ask you, so on February 26, 1975, they had the Savings Day gathering. And were you there?
No.
You weren't there, okay. So I saw
we had it on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Because we didn't have computers and phones and all of that thing. We didn't have no information. All information we got here.
So how many people were in the community during that time in Memphis? 100, 200?
I don't know. You don't know people really a lot. But it wasn't that many because I said this. We meeting in the building wasn't big as this.
Okay.
But you know, you had people coming in for a few minutes, then be back out. Okay. I talked to a brother this morning. Same thing. He's in New Orleans. The guy came in and accepted so and then as soon as I did that, I shook hands with a brother and he had a 10 capsule in his hand. I had it for about, I'm talking about cocaine, heroin one. He was addicted. And he said he went around about it and then he fell back in the street. He had him in and out. But they never did forget the message. And another thing they did that we didn't do. I don't care what you did. If you went back to the street or whatever, you didn't eat pork. You may go shoot up, you didn't eat pork. I mean, that was just
like this now.
That was religious, man. I mean, you ain't no pork.
So let me ask you this. So on that particular Savior's Day, on February 26, 1975, when everyone they pledged allegiance.
That wasn't.
What was it then?
No. Okay. That whole we got to go down to the Liberty Memorial.
So that was later.
See, what happened was we didn't know who was going to be the next leader.
Now this is after Elijah Muhammad passed.
He passed one day. It's like this. How organized we were. The only Elijah, like I'm telling you, brother, personally, when I joined the Nation of Islam, I never did nothing bad. I did like dumb things. But when I came into the Nation of Islam, I said, I'm going in, because I knew all the things out there. I've seen so much in my young life. I said, I'm going in and I will die for the army Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, I said, if I die for anyone, not for Jesus, not for Bible, I die for this man. And I told you how serious we were. We were serious about our belief in the Nation of Islam. I don't know how they are now, but it's a whole different story now because of whole different conditions and time. But this is how organized we were. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad died one day. The next day, we had Savior's Day, and they voted Imam Murtadi Muhammad to be our leader. Long story on that, there's a lot of detail and explanation, but that's what happened.
So what happened, like, were people kind of resistant at the mosque in Memphis as far as Imam Muhammad being the new leader, or how did that work?
No, it went smooth. There was a lot of confusion and a lot of resistance everywhere, but nobody showed it. Because we were still in that Nation of Islam mentality.
You still had the same infrastructure as far as still selling paper stuff.
Let me tell you something. Masjid al-Mu'minun, if you go in the museum, we still got, when we put our sign up, Imam Muhammad was the new leader, but we still had Mosque number 55, meetings on da-da-da, we hadn't started Juma yet. We still had the same structure.
Yeah.
It took time. But what Imam Muhammad told us, he said, put all your books up, like I was telling you about the books. We had How to Eat to Live, A Message to the Black Man. And we had the Quran on all our shelves, go back to that. Nobody could read it though. Imam told us, put your books up. Put all the books up. And just listen at me. And he started teaching us. We started a fourth Sunday hookup. What that was, every fourth Sunday, Imam Muhammad would teach. Brother, he would teach from an hour to 5, 6 hours. One day he taught 8 hours.
I've been with it.
And we were, like I said, we were so sincere, we would sit there the whole 8 hours and listen. And like we didn't have the internet or anything you could put on. We had in Masjid al-Mu'minun, where we are, at the Masjid, we had a room called the hookup room. And we had those ringing phones where you dial up. We had 40 phones down there in the room.
40
phones.
40 phones.
And Memphis was an outlet to 40 more masajids. We had Texas, Arkansas, some Florida. We had, I forgot how many, but we had about 30-something, 40 phones. And at a certain time, we'll hook all the phones in. I was the operator. We hook everybody up. They hear the message, and everybody was getting all the same news at the same time. Nobody else was doing that. That's what we had our message. So that's how we stayed in contact with the teaching of Imam Muhammad. And what he did, another thing he did, we had masajids in every city. He took all the big time ministers, and moved them around.
So who was the minister in Memphis post 1975? The first
Wendell.
imam. The first imam.
Oh, that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
You're right on time. What he did, man, this is phenomenal what he did. He took out, because that wasn't no easy job what he took. Because you had a lot of animosity, a lot of jealousy, you had a lot of things going on. And what would have happened, like Malcolm, if Imam take over and take a different role, a different direction from the nation, like a lot of people left when he did this, you would have had some fanatics trying to assassinate or get rid of Imam Muhammad in one way or another.
So this is why he abolished like the FOI.
No. That's not why he abolished that. The reason he abolished that, in his mind, he was bringing us into Islam. He got everything that didn't go along with Islam, he got rid of it. And he had to bring us into a new mentality. That's why I told you, instead of saying the black man is God, he started teaching us common sense. Man is man. Like I said, we had intelligent brothers now. We didn't have no educated brothers, but they were very intelligent. We knew street talk. We had common sense. We didn't depend on nobody for nothing but ourselves. That's how much faith we had in ourselves. We thought we could do anything. I'm serious. And we did do anything. I mean, we made. I'm serious, brother. A brother left one city and went to another city. He had to have a letter. And when they got to that city, he was taken care of. Brother with sisters, you mess with a sister. They may find you somewhere else. I mean, I'm serious. You didn't do that. You didn't disrespect our sisters, the husband, other street people. And you didn't disrespect no Muslim. This wasn't no talk. This was for real. Like the brother just said about when he was saying revolutionary, this was a lifestyle where we had our own custom. We didn't brag about it. We did it. We had our own restaurant. We had a brother here named Anthony. had a shoe shop on McLemore, right here locally. Musa. He made the transition with Imam Waqidin Muhammad. But the mayor, everybody, well, it wasn't no mayor, we had white mayor, but all our business people went in there, everybody went in Musa's shop. And Musa, all he did was talk Islam. He had fans all over the building, and Nation of Islam just talk. And we had a brother named Boss of the Bar. He owned about he was a big time brother. Had 4 or 5 record shops, and he joined the nation.
Yeah.
So we were popular here. We were in any city you went in, Philly and go to Philly and Jersey.
Yeah.
You thought everybody in that city was a Muslim. The sister, I'm serious, all the sisters back then, 50 years ago, sisters got their head tied. Then my wife went up there and my wife was saying, Assalamu alaikum. I said, don't tell everybody, these are no Muslims. They just influence, so it was very popular to be a Muslim during that time.
Okay, so when did you started off, they had the mosque on Beale Street, and then you said it was Florida Street.
No, it was on Beale Street. I don't know if that was the first one or not, but that's the first time I went to it. I was about 15 or 16. Me and all of my sisters went to it. We just wanted to go. You know how you go. I said, they got to be bad. They call the white man the devil. I really want to hear this. All my sisters, we was a tight family. One of my sisters fixed hair, and we just went. And we heard them say, white man, they were teaching hard on the white man. And they were speaking truth too. They bring it from the historical side. I said, he's some bad guys here. From you got the nerve to call him the devil? Yeah. You can get less, man.
So the main minister was Wendell. Was Minister Wendell Street? Right.
He was from Memphis. And Wendell was just a minister, one of the ministers. He wasn't a big time minister, but he was a minister because we wasn't a big time city. Memphis still just a small city. But what he did, I'll go back to that, he shook up the whole community by putting all our top ministers in different places. I think he brought Farrakhan to Chicago where he was, because Minister Farrakhan was in New York. No, he was in New York, didn't he? Yeah, he was in New York, because Malcolm was in assassinated. But a brother named, you know it, a brother named A. Nuri Salam. Give you a little history on him.
He was the Imam post 75, the first Imam of Masjid al-Mu'minun.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Nuri, big brother. Not fat. Just big, bad brother. Jet black. Got shot around the heart 4 times in Compton when they attacked the temple in Compton, in L.A. And Nuri, one of the brothers who fought the police out from the temple, and he got shot and got sentenced to prison. And they ended up putting him out of prison because he was such an organizer. He was sending out letters, getting people to join the Nation of Islam in the prison. So when they put him out, he went back to the temple in L.A., and he was just a progressive brother. He just moved. And Imam Hassan was the imam there too. So Imam Hassan and Nuri, I guess they couldn't get along because you can't have 2 giants in one place. So Nuri moved out to Compton and opened up a masjid.
So he moved from Memphis. He was from California. He came to Memphis and he moved back to Compton.
No. He was in L.A. He left the L.A. mosque and opened up one there. They had got too big for L.A. He opened up one in Compton. And the Compton mosque was doing so good, they were hearing about how good they were doing. So he in other words, he got to be a big time imam too.
Okay. So
when Imam Muhammad shook up the community, he sent Nuri to Memphis. Because we didn't have because like you said, Wendell, when the change came, Wendell didn't come back to the mosque no more.
So that's why I'm trying to get some information on this.
Yeah.
He hadn't. Well, I put it like this: Wendell hadn't been there in a while.
So once the guys have passed, Wendell, he was just done.
Yeah. Well, he was still a minister, but he wasn't there. He wasn't done. You had a lot of his assistant ministers were teaching. A lot of his assistant ministers were teaching. But it wasn't a long transition. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad died one day. Imam Muhammad Muhammad took over the next day and started making changes the next day.
Okay.
That's how quick it was. It wasn't. I'll show you how fast it happened. When Nuri came to Memphis, over on Florida Street, Nuri said, we can't pray in this place here. It's not fitting to pray in. We said, huh? Because we started learning how to do our prayer. First week we started learning. Nuri said, it's not fitting to pray in. And so we started doing it at the hotel, having our meetings at the hotel at the airport. And we started looking for a building to purchase. And Nuri and a couple of sisters and a couple of brothers from the masjid found that building that we were on, we were in now on 3rd Street, 3-story building.
What year was that?
1975.
That y'all moved into the current building on 3rd?
Yeah.
Oh, 75?
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you, Imam Sharif, Rashad Sharif, he brought it to my attention. Imam Rashad Sharif, our Imam, who was the Imam for 27 years, right before Imam Wali, he said, 1975, February, Honorable Elijah Muhammad passed. Nuri came in March or April, somewhere like that. And before the summertime, we had a new building.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? That's how fast we were moving, man. I mean, we were moving. I hadn't even thought of it like that. God dog. I was like that. Wow. And I was right there because I was the treasurer. So I was watching all these changes. Man, Allah was just blessing us. We got the prisons open, just so much. Somebody else got to talk to.
Yeah, we actually have about 3 more minutes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, question, yeah.
Yeah, was the mosque incorporated in Tennessee at that time? And that other part of that, was it the first mosque incorporated in Tennessee?
It wasn't incorporated at that time, no. But it was the first masjid. It was the first masjid incorporated, I know that. Because one thing we did in the nation, we tried to do everything by the books.
Yeah.
Because they were watching us so close, they tried to find anything wrong. Even when we opened our school, we had a school for 20 years, Islamic school. The first Islamic school we had was in Memphis for 20 years. And we were turning out children so fast and so good, the public school was calling us, say, y'all got any more like that? Can you send them over here?
All right.
Recruitment, yeah. Any more questions?
And then while you got some.
If you want to add?
So, on that time frame.
I think Brother Master named a couple of people early.
Okay.
Maybe some time to come back around. I think
Nuri was a businessman too, like I told you. And we had several businesses.
In Memphis, right?
Yeah, we had a Gospel Bird Chicken Company. I think it was not Mrs. What was that? It was on Parkway in Florida, in 3rd Street. It was on 3rd Street right on the Parkway. It was Miss Granny. It was a new build.
What year? You got to give us the year.
The early 80s. Early 80s, I believe.
So when did Clara Muhammad schools open and moved in?
I think it was 78, I believe.
78.
Yeah, 1978. Because we had our children in Doubletree. My wife and Sister Chandra, Nuri's wife, they had taken Montessori training, and they had a Montessori school at Doubletree, right in Westwood area. And they was over there doing a lot of volunteering work. But what they did, a lot of us lived in the Westwood area, in Whitehaven area. So we had our children in kindergarten in Montessori at Doubletree. And they got all the Muslim children. We said that the plan, and they were going to divide them up and send them to other schools. So Nuri, I was the treasurer, and Nuri said, Celine, why don't we open our own school? I said, huh? He said, we can open our own school. I said, how are we going to do that? He said, well, first of all, I'm going to put my children in the school. You going to put yours in there? I said, what? I'm like, it's all new to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm putting mine in there. He said, we get 3 or 4 more families, we got it. He said, if we last 1 year, everybody else come in because people are scared. We were in this Negro mentality, I'm telling you, even us. We had the spirit, but we were still kind of scared to make that move. That was a big move, man. Taking your children out of school, opening your own school, you don't have nothing. So I said, yeah, but we were brave too. I got it. So we got 5 families. Then we got 10 families. And the blessing was, everybody trusted us so much and loved us as black Muslims, they trusted us with their children. One while we had more non-Muslim children than we had Muslims. I know a lady, poor lady, had all of her children in the school, had about 7 children in the school. I'm like, how's she paying? They were paying tuition too. We had teachers to come in with degrees, work for $100 a week. We had Miss Small on her husband, on his own, had a big real estate company here. She came in and volunteered for whatever we gave her. So that's the way we were being blessed. We had the immigrants wouldn't put their children in the school. The wife didn't want to do it, but the husband wanted to do it. They didn't care as long as you had Islamic school. So, but they would donate to help the school. And one brother, Munir Usmani, Munir was from Pakistan.
Mufti was one.
Yes.
Mufti was one.
No, Munir. Mufti was his father.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And both of them, his father too. His father was one of our. We put him on one of our founding lists because he helped so much. But he put his 2 children in the school and told me, Celine, they'll be here until the school closed, if it ever closed.
Right.
Until they get too old to go. But so we had all my children went there. All of Waleed's children went. All our children went there. We had to do that, and we didn't have no money to afford that school, man. We had heaters and everything in there trying to make it work. But we had dedication. We had workers. We had people who believed in what we were doing. And we believed in Allah. And like I tell people now, when we look at what Allah blessed us with through all of this time, I said we had to be doing it for peace of Allah. I mean, because I can't think of no, we wasn't that tough. We didn't have nothing. But when we look at what we got now, I put the community up against any community anywhere because it's the spirit that counts and the people's dedication and sincerity, like in this religion. So that's why I look at, sometimes at Juma, we might have 30, 20 people, we should have 300 people at Juma, brother. When they now, let me tell you this, brother asked me, well man, if y'all had 300, why you don't have nobody then? Guess why? I'm gonna tell you, Imam Muhammad said white people could come in. And wherever white people go, we wanted to go. I'm not joking, there ain't no joke, but that's a reality. I had to sit down and figure that out. That's how brainwashed, how, that's how a man works. That's why Imam said man mean man, and brought us out that mentality, taught us to be independent thinkers. Oh man, when he told us that, some of us went way just thinking independent. We went too far, but it opened us up to think, though, to think for ourselves. Because we were scared, man. The brother was just saying, one of the biggest campaigns we had, I put this all over the world. I said this, if anybody can beat it, was the Craig, remove all racial images of divinity. That's a movement we had. Now that should have been all over. That's our main thing. Man is not God. For the Muslim anywhere, no man can be God. We were protesting in front of churches with signs. And then when we quit, Imam said, people, why y'all quit? Imam said, time out for that. We just wanted to wake the world mind up to man is not God. That's it. And people started, we had, in the museum right now, we got a minister who took down all of his Jesus sign pictures of a white man, a black man, any kind of portrayal of God. He took them down. He's in our museum now. He said, yeah, I'm taking them down. And we had a lot of people like that. It made them start thinking.
So what are the hours of the museum there? Can anybody we got to call first, or we got to?
You can call me personally, and I open up for you. That's what I told Sheikh. When Sheikh first came here, Sheikh brought the school down 2 or 3 times been teaching out at Pleasant View. Shake after shake. Anytime you call, I'm open for you. Whenever you want to bring the children, because the children just fascinated. I mean, they were. It was just something. So it's open whenever it's open every Juma, every Talim, every time I'm there. If you want to call and get a special tour, it's open. Any more questions?
Thank you, Brother Salim.
All right.